I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Steve Stein and his team, the co-founder and CEO of xManna. Steve, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it.
I'm excited to dive into NFT, gaming, metaverses, and sports, which I think is going to have huge advantages integrating blockchain. I would love to kick off our conversation by just hearing a little bit about xManna, what your team's been working on from you, and then we can dive into the details.
Sure. So xManna is a blockchain gaming and sports loyalty platform. And this came about through actual trial and error running live at Maccabi Tel Aviv Stadium, where we were engaging a stadium of over 11,000 people, where we simply ran a basic test trying to test engagement. How does engagement work? How do you connect ad spend to ad return in a sports environment using gamification, right? And we went to the store down the street. We had the cheerleaders walking around holding up some drones, and literally we were able to get 20% of the fans in the stadium to pick up their phones and start playing when the announcer came on and said, hey, play a 60-second game, and whoever gets the highest score wins. We really learned something incredible at that time. And what we did was we went and traveled and met with about 100 different clubs and leagues from around the world, from the New Zealand All Blacks to the Mumbai Indians. I mean, really trying to understand what their challenges are, competing in their different hackathons, FC Barcelona, and so on and so forth with the EuroLeague. And with that, we were able to understand the concept of, how do you bring this to market the right way? We went live with a POC about 10 months ago, testing this out, just to see how would you launch this in the sports ecosystem, with incredible results. And with that, we partnered with a company called Orson, who's helping us take this to market. And currently we're in contract with a company, a major club in South Florida. We can't say who, but we are launching this season, which is going to be incredible. And we're going to be bringing blockchain gaming to the stadiums, like literally one stadium after the other, introducing a whole NFT ecosystem, the metaverses, connecting, real world properties into everything that, the crypto community has to offer.
Definitely. Amazing. Great intro, Steve. And it's great to hear that you've had such great traction already. And with the increase of NFTs moving into, artists, it seems everyone on the East Coast of the States is who wasn't technical before now knows about NFTs. And I think the next step is getting into sports and getting into large venues. And I think this is a great next step. I'm curious to know a little bit more about the application itself. How is it actually helping fans increase their experience, bringing people at the venue closer together in ways that, there have been loyalty platforms or like engagement platforms before the days of blockchain and NFTs that were trying to do similar things. And I'm curious how this takes it to the next level.
That's actually a really good question. So let me just give you an example of what we're going to be doing in about 4.5-5 months from now. Maybe a little bit longer, don't quote me on the time, but about 4 months from now, we're gonna have a stadium of 15,000 people. They're gonna take out their phones and they're gonna be shooting each other in a game called Mono Wars, and whoever gets the highest points are gonna be walking out with over 1,500 prizes, 1 out of 10 people. Now, that's a completely different experience when you think about gamification. How do you move people in not just the physical realm, but also the digital? And we believe that when you incentivize people, through what our business model is, it's we believe that by putting a certain percentage, 40% of our net profits towards the next day's incentives, we can encourage people to take incredible action because we're only asking for small engagements. They interact in ways that they already do. For example, 40% of all sports fans, while they're watching a game, well, they're using a phone as a second screen. They're sitting there gaming, and that revenue is being driven away from the sports club. What we're doing is giving the club a way to simply, turn the funnel towards them, where they already have an incredible ecosystem and incredible engagement rates with their community.
Definitely, I completely agree. And you might as well keep it in-house, if they're already on their phone. I could imagine having a shooting game where you actually get to interact with people and you're not just looking into your screen, you're actually interacting with the people around you using your screen. I feel like that would be really fun at the stadium.
Absolutely. We've already tested out that concept before. And what we're looking to do now is not to take away from the stadium, but to enhance it. 95% of the time, the stadium is empty. Nothing's being done in it.
Yeah.
Now imagine activating that like a digital node, if you would, that begins to open up these different revenue streams. Once the club activates it, it turns on indefinitely. And what we give the sports clubs is a white labeled loyalty application. It's already built, it's ready to go. We're going live with it this season. And what it does is allows them to turn on a whole gaming mechanics behind it. And if you want, you can ask a few questions about that. And, I have my chief product officer here, Randy, who can explain that to you and maybe walk you through it a little bit as well.
Definitely. I would love that, Randy. If you could talk a little bit about the gaming mechanics and how this is so innovative and why it's going to have retention for, not just people playing it once at the game, but playing it all season and for years to come.
Yeah, and so I also want to bring the fact that it's not only sports that are going to be able to benefit from this, not only the sports clubs, but actually game developers as well. What we do is we take these skilled mobile games, and just starting out with mobile, we definitely plan on branching into consoles and more, and we allow them to integrate not only cash gaming, but crypto gaming as well. So the only requirements we have is that it's skill-based, it's not casino, it's not gambling. So you can take your games that currently exist in the marketplaces now that many people are guilty of, maybe in the bathroom or in their free time, playing a lot of it. And now you can actually, implement risk. Now they can wager US dollars, or they can even wager cryptos against each other. Wow. And they can even wager US dollars versus cryptos. Okay, and they don't even know it. We have a patent that we submitted called Atomic Gaming, which allows for all the digital assets to be able to interact with each other, and using liquidity mechanisms on the back end, we're able to then basically resolve it to whatever the winner's currency was. So we're really excited about bringing the mass market and the crypto digital asset market together in gaming. But then, as Steve mentioned too, with the sports clubs, they're competing with this 40% second screen time, right? Well, what we can do is we can incentivize the more the users are interacting with the team content, their existing sponsors, watching live streams, buying gear, buying tickets, and you can incentivize them into the gaming. They can get access to exclusive tournaments, they can get bonus cash and other things that synergize their entertainment with their sports enjoyments.
Very cool. And you, with the gaming, you mentioned into other games as well. I was reading something about the SDK that sort of allows you to plug into any game, or people that already have functioning applications that need to integrate this. Is it really easy to be able to spread this into multiple games, multiple platforms?
So that's a very great question. And that's exactly it too. It's our SDK, our software development kit. It allows for these games to be implemented with having this wallet system, having cash and crypto gaming, having tournaments, and then also, as Steve mentioned, the 40% net profits going back to them with just a few lines of code. Doesn't take them long at all, depending on how much they want to customize the look and feel. But I mean, it's very, very simple process, and that's the way we want it to be. Is they don't have to have the knowledge; they just have to have the cool game that they want to be able to monetize and get out into these, premium fan bases like the sports world.
Definitely. And you mentioned at the beginning, Steve mentioned that you already have some kind of partnership with some big club that we're looking forward to hearing about. Is that the main go-to-market strategy? Is you're going to partner with this first club, showcase the technology, and then other clubs will come along organically, or you're all working on getting those leagues in different geographies, and what's the expansion past that first part?
So that's exactly it, though. Is we've identified the problems that the sports clubs are enduring, which is obviously the ability to monetize and continue to engage with their fans. And what we're going to do is prove this model out right here. And then it's basically a copy and paste to roll across to other sports clubs, other leagues. It can even expand to celebrities, influencers, and anything that has a massive following where they want to engage and monetize their fan base. Great.
Okay. And part of the platform as well, with the engagement, I saw that there is a token integrated into the ecosystem, the XMAN token for xManna. I would love to hear a little bit about that, whether it's required to enter the platform, or what are the functionalities, and how does it create a sustainable ecosystem for xManna?
So it's definitely not required at all. You can participate with just your regular currency. There's even free-to-play coins. You don't even have to contribute any monetary funds if you don't want to. But the way our XMAN token does support our ecosystem is, first and foremost, if the teams choose to have a token, we'll provide a launch pad for that, and staking the XMAN token can get you allocation out there, similar to how launch pads that currently exist are structured. Secondly, it's a DeFi-like mechanism, but it's not DeFi, but you can stake your XMAN tokens, and we reward with engagement rewards. So how you would get these unlocked would be obviously stake your tokens, and you'd have your vesting periods and what tier you were in. And once they are locked, if you fulfill engagement bounties, for example, participate in a few cash games, interact with sponsored content, or interact with team content, you then unlock these engagement rewards. And similar to how a proof of stake blockchain, requires their nodes, the confirmations to get their rewards, we're requiring engagements because that's what keeps our ecosystem healthy as well. You can also enable the XMAN token if you're holding it for a rake discount. You'll get a 25% rake discount if you have that enabled. And then lastly, you can also game with it. You can wager it to win more if you'd like to.
Very cool. And did I hear you mention that with the Launchpad, these teams and these clubs that come out, they'll be able to create their own tokens?
Yeah, so if they choose to, and not everybody's gonna, how it is with blockchain and adoption, not everybody's ready for that. But if and when they're ready, then that's exactly what we do. And then what they can do for their fans is within their application, the more they're interacting with the team content, the value added engagements or buying tickets or buying gear, they can then reward these fans with their team token, and they can have these VIP levels that climb up. And these VIP levels can give them platform benefits. It can offer them exclusive tournaments, bonus cash, or even in stadium perks as well.
Very cool. And with that, I'm excited to see how many teams actually come out with their token and create an ecosystem. And I know that there's still ways to go because this first partnership, you have to announce the details and who is this awesome club that's started to use xManna. I would love to hear exactly where you're at and when that's coming, and how can the viewers get involved right now, or when can they get involved?
That's a really good question. Actually, there's a few parts to that, and we can't say the name. The announcement will be in January. They will be making the announcement, little teasers about it as they build up to our launch within the ecosystem. So it's going to be exciting. We've already we have our hands in a couple of other clubs that know that we're coming. This was prepared for quite a long time. We have 6 patents on the technology. One of them is already granted. So we put a lot of thought into the process of how do you do this? How do you integrate partners into an ecosystem where you can, help them to connect ad spend to ad return? How you can activate a gaming ecosystem within the sports community, which just energizes and engages everybody in completely new way.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And with the XMAN token as well, is that coming out when in January alongside that club partnership, or what's the timing like on that?
Well, the token is it's live now. As far as users going to be able to have it, we think sometime around January, February, in that range, hopefully, where the individual sports fans will be able to start having access to it. So that's in process. We're trying to line it up for the actual release of the application, and we're testing the features and beginning to test the features actually next month in the stadium.
Very cool, Steve. And looking farther down the road, once you have the first club successful and you continue on to expand around the world, what do you think will be the key factor to success in terms of having the retention of the clubs, having other clubs call you up and being like, we see this use case, we want it as well?
Well, our focus is to enhance the club's ability for their partnerships and their ecosystems to, we're ultimately there giving the clubs the ability to turn their followers into fans from this perspective of monetization. The vast majority of sports fans are extremely difficult to monetize, given that the fans exist outside of their own ecosystem. I mean, they exist in Twitter and Facebook and all these other places, but not within their own ecosystem. And by showing a club that's legacy how they can take a digitize everything strategy and take one step in that direction, opening up a whole new realm of possibilities, from chasing NFTs as egg hunts around the stadium, taking that to the actual partnerships in the ecosystems and how to engage them, not just during game day. This opens up, from a club's perspective, the ability to be able to take this, 365 days a year. I mean, once the faucet is turned on, it's on. And by the way, this is not just limited to clubs and sports organizations. It's for any person or organization that has a following that they would like to monetize, because we can give them a white labeled loyalty application with the ability to plug in any game they choose, to be able to plug in an ad network, to be able to plug in a fintech network and turn it on that day and be able to promote it within their ecosystem. So you can imagine how you can take that outside of sports. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more in the pipeline. We've got a lot of other projects we can't talk about that are quite significant, that it's going to be a lot of fun. But you've heard us touch on some of those topics here, but you'll see 2022 is going to be quite exciting.
Definitely, and I know that we will be speaking again then. For the viewers that are looking to get involved right now, to follow along with these updates, to hear about them right when they come out, to get involved in the communities, what's the best way for people to learn more about xManna?
Follow us on social media, go to our website, subscribe. There's going to be a lot of early adopter opportunities coming along from the NFT side, from the Metaverse side, from club tokens, from physical NFTs signed by players and other things that are going to be really exciting that are going to be in the pipeline. So if you're interested, follow along, get with us early. There's going to be a lot of things that are going to come out within the first couple of quarters of 2022.
Amazing. Thank you so much for taking the time, Steve. Thank you, Randy, for the details as well. All the best with xManna moving forward. I'm looking forward to seeing these clubs pop up and increasing engagement and having fun at the arena. And let's follow up in the near future.
Looking forward to it. Thank you for having us.